what it is. At this time, we have the fiscal year budget, 2026 budget update.
I need to, Joe, I need a invoice from the Terminex from, yeah, I don't have it. I gotta print it off, but it's an invoice from Terminex.
All right. Okay, Mayor and Council, I have some sheets that are before y'all that look like these here. It's a tax rate analysis. Here's your extra one.
There, but you got this one.
And then I have your draft budget. I also have your draft budget before you. Council, I'm going to hit some of the highlights, and it's here available. We can go through, we can dig deeper into any of this that council needs more insight on. On our draft budget, right now, that as we proposed, I have a M&O rate of 0.4795 cents. Over to the right, you're going to have no new revenue rates, voter approval rates, and your de minimis rates. Those are the three rates that were required by state statute to put charts together for. Our no new revenue rates for maintenance and operations, all the bills that we pay, everything that we expend through the city outside of debt payments, salaries, materials, fuel, insurance, paying the light bills, anything like that. That's maintenance. That's all funded through maintenance and operations. That's what operates the city on a day-to-day basis, pays everybody. The maintenance and operations budget required to fund this budget from taxes is $2,052,000. If you look over here, the 16 cents INS tax, that's the amount necessary to bring in enough revenue to pay for all of our debt, the 16 cents. It's 1.1630 debt service rates. You'll see that all the way across the board. So no matter what what tax rate we adopt up above, this debt rate is the amount necessary to secure and pay for all of our existing debts. If you go, currently our M&O tax rate is 50 cents, 0.5019. So right at 50 cents per $100 value. For a no new revenue rate, that means the amount of revenue that we brought in this year to bring in that same amount,
We could do it.
our tax rate drops to 0.47 cents, 47.5 cents. So a little over 2.5 cents lower than this current year. The amount that's allowed by state statute is the voter approval rate. Let me just pull that up since we're talking about that one. The voter approval rate. So the voter approval rate allows us to raise that M&O rate up to 51 cents.
A penny.
We can go up to 51 cents. So anywhere between
That's
40.
52.
Correct. Yes, sir. 47.5 cents is the no new revenue rate. That brings in the same amount as last year. 52 cents, 51.94 is the amount that is allowed to bring in, that's 3.5% more revenue than last year. If y'all, if council goes over that, that goes up into the de minimis bracket, which doesn't trigger an immediate election, but for many cities over 30, well, for cities over 30,000 population, it triggers an election but council says, hey, we really need $500,000 for this major project. The de minimis rate is the amount necessary to bring in $500,000 to fund a project. And then you run the risk of an election. So an election can happen, and we just have to be prepared to present the need. And then the public decides whether they want that need or not. And they can,
That's more money.
cancel that and back us back down to the voter approval rate, or allow it to happen. So those are the three rates that are required by law to be presented tonight. Our current budget, I said right here, this no new revenue rate up here is at 0.4747. So almost 47.5 cents. Our budget that's in front of you is based on 0.4795, slightly higher. It's about $20,000 higher than what the no new revenue rate is. So truthfully, I went down using last year's budget, actual expenditures, and I had to go through and any of our hard numbers that had to increase. Some of them, I believe, is to the point, one of them being our insurance. We need to go out and probably shop for liability and property insurance to see if we can get some better rates. They went up by 15% for property and 41% for liability. Insurance rates has gone up. Those are one of the bigger impacts to our budget this year. Health insurance, staying steady. All of the other personnel related costs, none of those really fluctuated. Retirement contributions, all of those are steady.
Can we shop that before this is finalized?
No, sir, we'll have to adopt this, but we can definitely go shop and amend this budget too. We can amend
Yeah,
it.
you can amend the budget, but you can't amend the tax rate.
That's,
No, yeah, you're right.
What's the ISO rating for the city?
Two. This budget made for, so any additional revenues that I could find, like, I know we went over this budget in detail a couple meetings ago as far as revenues and what we were expecting to come in and decreases in revenues. This reflects those. We, numbers that we've shored up a little bit more using this year's revenue is our license and permits and fees, building permits and inspections. You'll see that that number has increased. We've just become busier in building inspections and permitting.
That's
We're getting
good.
a lot more construction going on. And so we have a third-party company that we hire, so that's an in and out revenue. That money comes into our budget and we pay inspectors and building officials to sign off on those. So that money comes in and out. For revenue,
so, I was gonna ask a question. So basically, everything that you placed in this, for all of the wish list that the, specifically.
capital request,
Yeah, what did you actually place in here? Everything that they asked for, or
none of it.
none of it?
There's none of it. There's not enough money in our tax rate to fund any of the capital requests.
Capital
The
request.
capital requests that were one-time expenditures, I'm recommending that council, we come back. That's not something that can be fit in this budget, but we come back with, any remaining cash reserves that we have in ARPA, our ARPA fund. We can spend one-time payments to meet some of those capital requests. But as far as appropriating those requests into this budget, our tax rate and revenues can't support any of our capital requests. So the firefighter positions, police officer positions, the COLAs, the cost of living adjustments, none of that has been appropriated in this budget. So if you look up at the top of your sheet, using this 0.4795 inch tax rate, it leaves us about $170,000 of money on the table that the voter approval rate will be able to bring in. So if y'all increase the tax rate at all, we have up to about $170,000 that we can appropriate to capital expenditure, capital requests. If you want to assign some money towards cost of living, if you want to hire a new officer or firefighter, any of those items. And obviously the big one that is directly impacted by this budget is our street construction budget.
That's it.
So if y'all want any money to go into that, I have a breakdown on that, so we can talk about that real quick before we, but anything that we talk about, just know that our voter approval rate allows for up to 170,000. That's kind of the target. That's the only amount of money that we can bring in without going over that cap. Okay? So,
Okay, I guess I just need, because I was going over a few things on yesterday evening, and I didn't have, the, draft of this budget. But, just going over what I had, I was gonna ask you a question about the, $520,000 that we're collecting, in fees. Do you know? Can
is
you
that
give me what?
are you talking about the general fund admin fee?
I believe so.
So that's the portion that the utility fund pays to the city to take care of business.
Okay.
The utility, so much of our work, for instance, even a city hall, our electricity bill covers a portion of the utility department, right?
Okay.
We pay, the city, the Fund 01 pays for the electric bill, but when that light bill comes in, it's to fund uses and needs of our utility department. Clerks, city attorney, my own job, I'm funded out of Fund 01. I'm funded from property, I mean, my salary is paid from Fund 01, which is paid out of property taxes, but 50% of my job, arguably, if not greater, is overseeing and busy with utility department needs and oversight and construction and everything that we do. So that's the amount that the utility fund pays to the our proprietary, or our Fund 01, to cover for all of those needs: legal, travel and training, electricity, city hall, utility department costs, and salaries.
Okay.
It pays it back. Otherwise, the property taxes is paying to run a utility department. You know, a Fund 01 is paying for Fund 02.
Okay. Let's-
So, this is going to require council to look at the numbers and come back with what y'all believe y'all's priorities in street department, y'all's street department, priority list needs to be. But this gives you just a little bit of an idea. I went through the requests that I've received from different council members, as well as our streets department, and just my own personal knowledge of different streets that are just in really poor condition that we've tried to budget for over years, and it fell down in the lower priority list, so we rolled it over into the new year. Precinct 1, I met with our public works director, and we came up with costs on repairing these streets. And these are some of the streets that we put the estimates down just for council to understand. This budget has appropriated us with $410,000 for street construction. Every year, we easily use up at least $50,000 or $60,000 worth of patching material. We purchase dump truck 18-wheeler loads of patch material for keeping up with potholes, pothole repair mix. It's a different type of a mixture that is supposed to hold better and stay longer, arguably. But a lot of our money is just trying to keep those holes filled where water doesn't go in, and so that's the fight against time and erosion and everything. About 100,000 gives us roughly 8 streets of seal coating. Some of the streets that we've already finished, and many of them are going on to 4 and 5 years now, we need to go back and seal coat them. Otherwise, pretty soon we're going to be back at ground zero again. We're going to be starting over because the mat that we put down is beginning to erode, and we're starting to see little holes and stuff. We got to go and seal coat it to make sure that we extend the life of it some more years. Edmiston Drive, we remixed that road and spent a lot of nice money in it. It's getting to the point it needs a chip seal. Otherwise, we've lost it again. So, and that goes to, that's just in most of our precincts that we've done streets. Setting aside 100,000 is not near enough, but that gives us about 8 streets that we can prioritize that are the worst for us to go in and chip seal. Then that leaves us roughly with 250,000 for construction, about 50,000 per precinct. So that's why we put this grocery list of a few streets that really need attention.
You get this.
I think I passed them.
All right, so,
Thought I passed them, maybe not.
I get one from when he's sick. He took mine.
So, just to give an idea, 50,000 does not go too far. Last year, we adopted the no new revenue rate. So my budget for last year stayed the same. But in 1 year, most of our supplies, materials supplies that we purchased went up by 20% or more. The cement that we buy, the 18-wheeler loads of Portland cement went from 4,200 to 6,000 in 1 year. But I was still operating out of the same pot of money, the same amount of money to try to get the same amount of streets done. And that's to give y'all an idea of 50,000 does not go too far. And truthfully, if we went all the way up to the voter approval rate,
well, what I was about to say, that from what you're saying, then, we need to at least look at the voter approval rate.
if we're going to get more, we do have a good system. We have a good system. Our street department guys, our construction guys, they have a good system together. Our weakest link is finances for the materials. Because salaries, all that, everything's accounted for. We have the equipment.
The people.
We need to be able to buy cement and oil and rock and asphalt and put new curbs and gutters in where needed.
Okay.
And that's where this budget demand comes in.
But where we are right now, could we do that?
Yes, we can, but more limited. I mean, so,
Well,
right.
yeah, but then our list of streets that has
Messing up.
needs is gonna increase. I mean, we got one page here, next year we may have 2 then.
Anything that we don't fund this year is just going to be in a little bit worse shape next year.
Well,
If not a lot worse shape.
that's what I'm saying.
And so, I don't know how else to,
I would suggest to allow the taxpayers to decide if
That's when
if
it
they
has
want
to be
to,
a certain.
have the taxes raised, or I would say let them decide.
How you gonna do
That would
that?
be going to the
In time.
committee.
you wanna go over the voter approval rate?
No, we
No,
have
that's-
to do, when we have to vote.
You to go over
If
it.
we go over.
You go to the minimus rate.
In order to, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to go to that
We
rate.
just don't put it on the ballot. Okay.
Right. So if you go over the voter approval rate, if a petition is presented, we have to call for an election.
Pay for it.
And it'll be voted on at an election.
So how much does an election cost again?
And if it's rolled back, you're gonna go less than what you,
We go back to the voter approval rate.
So if you lose, you still go back to it. Is that right?
I'd rather not do that.
How much is an election again?
You're talking from
Well,
what we have currently in the
What's the
voter.
election, 10,
See the difference between current
10 or
and the
12?
voter?
Sorry.
No, I just said the difference between the current and the voter approval. It's not that much.
It's a little less than 2 cents.
That's what I said. So if the voter approval, because you've probably been about that much on an election, well, not quite that much, but it would only change 2 cents. It's short of 2 cents. But it will be able to get the areas that people are most wanting done. 'Cause
And
y'all
just
get-
looking at the budget, most of those streets with our current budget, you could end up selecting probably one good project, one street project to get done.
Okay, we
The
do,
voter approval rate would probably be able to add one more in there.
all right, so we pick one project out of each precinct and do that. Okay, then you got all these other ones, they're not gonna heal themselves. I mean, you know, they're just gonna get worse.
Degree.
And that's why I have to maintain so much of the budget
Forward.
to keep those Band-Aids
Yeah,
running.
well, you know,
Okay, so what are we looking at?
I spoke with the police chief. One of the items that he was definitely looking at was a police officer position, part-time position, maybe another full-time position. This budget, you have that $170,000 that you could appropriate to that. One thing that I think that he did agree to was, well, I don't want to speak for you, but for the part-time officer. Do you feel like that's something that we need to account for? We have one position that has announced her retirement in April. Our municipal court clerk. She's retiring in April. We could appropriate some of that line item. Miss Selena has taken over a lot of the finance roles that she was doing as far as accounts payable. Miss Selena taking on that role, her job is now more strictly to municipal court clerk. Right? And so that's not a full-time position. We would like to reduce that position back to half-time. We still have to have a municipal court clerk, but appropriate some of that budget to a police officer, a half-time police officer, or a part-time police officer for downtown square duty, for parking enforcements, for stopping 18-wheelers, addressing some of the biggest needs that people are, concerned about. And we could use that in this budget without raising taxes.
So I think, like Mr. Amberstein said, with a part-time position, the funds are already there. But I think utilizing those funds for a part-time officer that strictly focuses on the downtown area. Probably in the last 6 to 8 months, I've received more complaints from pedestrians, truck traffic, 18-wheelers coming through. I spoke with Councilman Marsh. He's called me several times about it. We've talked many nights about it because he's getting calls. I understand that there's a 18-wheeler problem coming across the square. And we can talk all day long about the signs that are up, the TxDOT has put up the new signs, but until it gets changed in their GPS, it routes every single truck. Probably 98% of the trucks that we do stop, that's the first thing they show the officers. Well, this is the way my GPS took me. Unfortunately, that doesn't matter for them. They still get a citation for that. There's a lot of times that I think this last month we ended up with 36, 37 citations for trucks coming across the square. But they probably, I bet there was 80, 90, maybe 100 that come through there. And without somebody that's dedicated to that area that can stay there, that's not bouncing around from call to call or the other side of town, that's the only way you're going to see that number go up. Another issue we run into with those trucks is a lot of them are from out of state. It's not a moving violation, not a state violation, so it doesn't go on their driving record. So we issue that citation, they head out of town, they don't ever come back to Crockett. We're not going to see any results from that citation. Now, I don't know the numbers as to what the ones that pay versus the ones that don't pay, but we do see a lot of that. So I do think that a part-time officer in that area that's just focused on downtown, responding to calls, downtown and probably a 2-3 block radius, that's paying attention to pedestrian traffic, parking violations, 18-wheeler violations, I think we could make a difference in that traffic. Hopefully, as the more 18-wheelers that get stopped, the more talking that happens, and gets passed on down the line. But it's a difficult battle with the 18-wheelers,
So-
mainly because their GPS takes them right through there every time.
And it's a safety.
So could you not, control that traffic, on the loop? I mean, those, in those thoroughfares that they're coming down? I mean,
Are you
as far as
talking,
the truck traffic, the 18-wheeler traffic?
now you're talking about like notification or signs?
Just basically, I know there's kind of like signs out there that says no through traffic.
My
Downtown, but-
issues with the signs, we have signs on the outside of the loop.
Yes.
They're not flashing, they're a little bigger than the ones that are on the inside of the loop. A lot of times, those 18-wheelers get to that stop sign, they take off, and when they realize that sign's there, they're already committed through that intersection.
Mm.
They can't turn those trucks around, so they're just gonna go with it and hope that they don't get caught.
Yeah, 'cause I'm basically saying patrolling the loop. I mean, if you had someone patrolling, you know.
The loop's not the problem, it's
Well,
where.
They're
Well,
on
they
the
have to
loop,
come from the loop to
Yeah.
get to the square.
but they're on the loop, but if they're coming off,
You can
they're
tell.
all the way
you can
around,
tell
but you
can
won't-
stop them before they get into.
not necessarily with the number.
Yes, to answer your question, that can be
They're
done.
giving
But
tickets every day.
You're looking at 8 major intersections
Yeah.
that they're having to work.
Mm.
They may be at 19 South, but you've got 10 coming in off of 7 or 21. Our busiest routes for truck traffic are gonna be 7 and 21 east and west. Goliad and Houston,
Yeah.
constantly, that's where they're gonna come from. So if you're working out 7 and 21 west, you're gonna miss everything that comes. So, the truth is, once they don't commit that violation until they come on the inside of that loop. So if we're working downtown, watching for those, they've committed that violation. They don't necessarily have to receive a citation, they can receive a warning, that's officer discretion, I can't control that. But I think to get more bang for your buck, we need to have somebody stationed in the downtown area that's focused on that, among other issues that we have downtown.
Chief, so hear me out, correct me if I'm wrong. Does, the, traffic stopping, citations from traffic and everything like that creates revenue for the city, correct?
That's correct.
Then that revenue from traffic stops can only be then used for, say, streets and things of that nature. Is
All
that
that revenue goes back to the general fund for the city.
correct?
Now, however it's placed out there, that's up to council.
Okay. So having said, had patroller or whatnot in the downtown area, that would create more revenue for the city.
So essentially, the revenue from city ordinance violations, which is what failure to take truck route is, it's a city ordinance violation that's adopted by the city. The city gets 100% of those proceeds.
Okay.
Versus if it's a state law or a violation of a state code,
Okay.
the state gets a portion of that fund, those funds as well.
So anything that you stop on the square is cities.
What about, hazmat spills, those hazardous spills from those trucks? Do they get fined, or not just that? I think I was talking to, Chief Frizell, and we were talking about, if the fire department have to come out and clean up spills and things like that, and I was asking him how they compensate it, how does the city compensate it? And he said that basically they don't, charge or, file on the insurance for whatever company. or
Supposed to.
Whoever, so how are we handling that?
So, if there's a truck that comes through that's a hazmat truck or it's a spill and they've created or committed a Class C traffic offense or a crime, yes, we would cite them or we would deal with that criminally. When it comes to reimbursement to the city for the fire department, that's up to the fire chief to claim that on their insurance. I'm not sure exactly how he does that.
Mhm.
We don't do that. We
Right.
handle the criminal side.
So basically, so if any spills like that happen at any of the local, like the convenience stores and stuff like that they have to come in and clean up, that would constitute as a filing on their insurance because of the fact that we've had to come out to address the issue?
A lot of that is handled by the state.
Okay.
They send their investigators in. They issue the fines. They also do a criminal investigation on a spill or something like that if it's a gas station. So they would handle those fines. Now, like the most recent one, our agency assisted them with the criminal investigation side of it. We don't have say-so over the fines and the administrative side.
I just want to know, so y'all saying like the 170,000 we need to hire another officer to work downtown instead of fixing the streets?
So the part-time officer that I'm talking about, we already have the funds budgeted for that. Because the position that's being paid full-time now, she's retiring, and that position she's taking on would be part-time. So that would leave us another part-time half of funds to utilize. So that would not be creating, it would essentially be creating a new position,
Yeah.
but the funds are already there.
So it's not gonna touch that 170,000?
No, no, sir. No.
Now, as I talked before on new positions, full-time officers, I think if we chose to do that, we need to apply for the COPS grant because that would lighten the burden on us for 5 years. In the first year, they pay 100%.
Get some money from
And
somewhere
we
else.
take over, when that 5th year would be our responsibility to apply full-time.
The fire department, the fire chief was not able to be here tonight. He's with his father. They had to life flight him. He's got some medical issues, so he's with his father. He did, you know, we spoke, and obviously spoke about our budget and the limited finances that we have. He's going to the ESD, Emergency Services District, to try to get some more support from them
That's good.
for us to continue the county responses that we do. And we hope to gain some support and finances there for a firefighter position instead of taxing our taxpayers for an additional position. So other than that, that addressed, you know, any of our appropriated requests. The other one, we had to come up with finances for debt service for the water, with the wastewater treatment plant and the water well, right? So the bonds that are coming due on that, council, at your last meeting, they said that y'all advised that to come up with the financial number for the utility departments to pay for those 2 bonds and our property taxes to pay for the street bond and the fire department, because we bought a fire truck, we got a new fire truck, we refurbished another one, and bought 3 police vehicles. So that bond would be paid out of our INS debt service tax. In order to come up with the financing to pay for both bonds for our wastewater treatment plant and our water well, I ran some numbers based on consumption. Consumption is probably the greatest equalizer for those that are on fixed income. Those are the ones that typically use the least amount. If it's a single person in a home or 2 people in a home, they're going to use the smallest amount of consumption versus a growing family, you know, with 5 and 6 kids, or multiple people in the household, or a commercial business, right? So in order to impact those on fixed income the least, a consumption-based increase is the only way to do that. Otherwise, it's a fixed rate where everybody pays the same. To do a consumption rate increase per 100 gallons, if you see down here, the total revenue that I need to pay for that bond is $159,000. In order to bring in 157, and that's just some rounding numbers also, right? But that's to bring in the bulk of that payment. To increase the rate value from 54.9 cents to 63 cents, an 8 cent per 100 gallon increase. If you see up here, this base rate, that doesn't change. The base rates stay the same going forward. The old rate and the new rate, right here, the new rate stays the same as the base rate. the rate, consumption rate per 100 gallons goes from 54 cents to 63 cents. That brings in $157,000 needed to cover that note. And for the residential, for the average residential user, it impacts them by $3.19 a month. $3.19 a month on their utility, on their water bill.
No.
So,
What
But
do we-
it's based
what do
on
we
their
do? So what did we do last meeting? Did we do raise, water?
y'all gave me a direction, instead of putting all of the debt repayment on property taxes, to move anything that was going towards water and utilities, to move it, to let this pay it back, not property taxes. And so, this is that amount
That it would
necessary to pay for it out of utility funds and not property taxes.
But, yeah, but the good thing about it is broken down from residential, not commercial. You'll just be paying for what you consume as a,
We pulled up, yes ma'am, and so we pulled up several people, like, just people that I know throughout town that's a single elderly person. Most of them use under 1,000 gallons per month, 600 to 1,000 gallons. So that's, let's say it's 1,000 gallons, that's a 10 increment. They're paying for 10 increments times 8 cents, so it's 80 cents for that person. If they say they're using 2,000 gallons even, that's $1.60. Versus the average family in Crockett uses 4,000 gallons.
that's must be mine.
So that's why the $3.19 for the average family. If you have sprinkler systems and other things,
You're gonna pay more.
it's more than $3, right? So that's why it averages out from
Yeah.
the single lady versus a full family and a sprinkler system. So
Commercial getting hit,
the commercial is getting hit here, but it is not, no sir, not comparison. That's why I would like at some point to do a rate study. Because the only differencing between commercial and residential is the base rate, which is a $10 change. Usually cities you pay by the size of meter.
Yeah,
We don't differentiate
Size of what?
the meter.
the size of the meter, so the amount of consumption that you use, you pay a higher percentage per 100 gallons. You pay a higher dollar rate. A lawyer, an attorney's office, say, or maybe an insurance office downtown that probably has one toilet in there just for their office, they pay a commercial rate,
For that
and they pay, obviously it's less, right, because they're not consuming a lot. The load of the cost is based on consumption. But they pay the same rate that a major industry out on the loop would pay. They pay the same rate. It's just based on consumption. So if you use a little bit, you pay a little bit. The more you use, the more you pay. So it's not unfair, but it's not typical.
unless you
Normally, cities pay differently.
got, unless you got 2 or 3 more businesses around, then it
To foot the
start
bill.
adding up.
Yes, sir. So it would be changing the consumption rate from 54.9 cents to 63 cents for water customers, and sewer customers from 24.2 cents to 33 cents to bring in the amount of revenue needed to cover that debt. Is there questions on that?
It's equally spread everywhere.
It's just the easiest way to
make it
apply
fair
to-
everybody.
Okay. No questions on that. Are there any other questions on our draft budget? How much do y'all want to, go through that? I'm here available.
I'm just, my question is there anything else in this budget that we could look at cutting or deleting or something to
Yes, ma'am.
help?
So, I made some notes. Here's, and I highlighted them over here, the ones that you see yellow. So in my general admin expenditure budget, I dropped that back. I initially plugged in a dollar amount for us to repaint the inside of City Hall, to fix our our walls and the areas that are all boogered up and float them out, sand everything and repaint it like we did this room in here. I even took that out. I went back to, just an annual maintenance fee, and I didn't put that money in there. If we had some more money, that would be something that we could apply. Roughly $10,000 using the previous bid that we did, this council room and everything from the lobby down to the utility office. When we fix that, it would be roughly about that much to hire a painting crew to come in and float the walls and sand everything and repaint it. If we're getting a good price, you know, and obviously I would make sure we, you know,
Got the best
we're
one.
not just hiring any general contractor. We can find some people that can do it for that price, especially if we give them a, you know, a budget threshold.
How can we get, more tax dollars without taxing like the customers in the city?
New businesses.
You did good. It ain't
Cut
it.
tax dollars.
The only way to get more money in
You gotta.
is bring in more business
money.
that pays.
So why can't we focus on bringing more business?
That's my job.
That's it. That's what we do.
Well,
We're doing it. We're doing
Gotta
it.
get somebody.
We're doing it. This
We
year,
looking
this year we
better
brought
now.
in over $11 million in new business.
The results I
Pretty
see.
good.
This year. And so this next year, right now, we have over $18 million permitted for this next year. So we're bringing in new people to share pieces of that pie.
It's just gonna kinda get hard on some people, man, if we keep going up.
I understand.
Not everybody,
now we're finding out.
not everybody.
Again, we got rid of one of our tools, we're basically finding out now, so we gotta be mindful of how we manage the city's money, the taxpayers' money.
So maintenance and repair streets, maintenance and repair streets, that's obviously the one that I can fluctuate with, right? If you go down, something else that I took out of the budget that initially, we've been running every year in our parks department budget due to the amount of equipment that we go through, those zero turns, they're not cheap. We have big bang for buck using TDC inmates, but they need reliable, they need equipment that doesn't break down. When they have a crew of 4 guys sitting in there, and so we've been getting them good zero turns and rotating them out. We have 3 of them, so every 3rd year we buy another zero turn. What I was wanting to do this year is buy a shredder instead of a zero turn. Let's eat it 1 year, let's hold with the equipment that we have, but buy a shredder. We just inherited right at 90 acres of additional industrial park property that has to be mowed. We have a small one.
Oh, that's.
We really need
It's on 3.
a good shredder. And so I did have that in the budget, but in order to meet this no new revenue rate, I pulled that out of the budget as well. We're just gonna have to deal with what we have, you know, make do with what the
What you got?
equipment that we have. But that's another placeholder that I put in the budget.
So basically, our parks, management, they're gonna have to take on mowing and pretty
Yeah,
much, like.
The past 3 months are not typical for the city. So I know that y'all have seen us getting behind on mowing.
Yeah, 'cause
This
it's-
last year, we had a TDC crew boss that retired. And so we had a dedicated crew come into Crockett for the last several years. The crew boss retired. They just appointed, he started this week. And if you notice, West Goliad at the underpass,
Yes.
they already started on that project. So they're already hitting the ground running, but that's not atypical. Having them helping us can free up more of our people to go out and do
Real.
mowing once a month or something like that in the industrial park. So I'm not saying we can't keep up with it. It's a struggle. We have to prioritize keeping all of our properties up and now bringing in additional 90 acres of more property when we were already kind of behind
Yeah.
with no additional funds to pay for it from. So, I did want to bring that to y'all's attention. The other thing on our water side, I added $18,000. I used the last couple of months worth of legal costs for our water attorney that's helping us on this, on the
Save the
well
water.
application
We're all over the news with that water.
that's going in Redtown Ranch. So we've hired an attorney, that money has to come from somewhere. So I plugged in an additional $18,000 for a year in legal fees as an expected or projected budget for that.
Save the water.
This budget also included on the utility side, since this is not coming out of property taxes, it's coming out of the utility side, out of utility revenues. When I asked council earlier during the capital request process, for funding from property taxes, we all agreed that if we're gonna raise taxes or gonna do anything to our taxes, it needs to go to streets. We're not taking it out of there. The money to purchase a car, to purchase a vehicle, to relieve the fire marshal truck, to be able to transfer the fire marshal truck to the fire department, and so the fire department's truck can be used in our public works department. It's a three-way swap. They don't need a 1-ton truck. City Hall does not need a 3/4 ton truck. So it purchases a replacement vehicle for that.
So what we buying a new vehicle? Or
No,
it's gonna be a
No,
used?
just a used vehicle.
We move
But-
around.
But
Just
that
a
was
used
something
vehicle.
that we said we weren't doing, right? Or no?
Yeah, we're not going to pay, yeah, we're not going to pay for
Just
the
checking.
vehicle. This also addresses the repair the lift station repair. We have the money in the budget. I put 100, we have 125 from last year. I wanna keep that in there, and that will give us the funds to repair the lift station that I brought to council during our capital request process. That is under a TCQ. We haven't received violations for it, but if inspected, we would. We need to get that lift station repaired and back online.
So let me ask you a question about the car. So do we have to buy a car?
We don't, there's a lot of, no ma'am.
So can we just give Lee your car?
If you give me a car.
Why do we need to give you a car?
Okay, that's up to council to answer.
I'm just asking.
I'm going to be doing a lot of business for the city, so yes, I would need a vehicle.
You gotta
We
have.
have
That'll pay
vehicle.
me a vehicle stipend.
We have
Yeah.
a vehicle, right? Yeah, vehicle.
Not if you give it away, if you give him my vehicle. So,
You're gonna need a vehicle, or else you're gonna have to pay
alright,
travel.
council
You
can
can't-
let me know if that's something that
Yeah,
y'all.
no, you gotta have
We'll let
transportation.
council talk about it.
Everybody if you travel in
Yes,
a
ma'am.
town, you need transportation.
Yes, ma'am.
That's, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You gonna tear up your own car riding around, or you gotta give a stipend, that's more than transportation.
Well, I mean, it's not like he can't, like, you know, you leave a vehicle here, or when he needs to go use the vehicle, you use it, and, I mean, you
Well,
we can work it out.
Well, I think
Quite
that
sure.
you need, I think if you're gonna have a person,
We can
okay,
work it
we'll discuss
So
that
where we don't
one.
have to purchase any other vehicles, I mean.
You need another transportation, you gotta have transportation,
Well,
and it doesn't need to be your personal,
well,
that
Alright.
makes sense.
What's council's, we covered in some of our biggest items during our budget process over the past couple of meetings. I have a follow-up, I have a balanced budget. What we would do tonight, what I'm requesting of council is for council to provide me with a proposed tax rate to fund this budget. This proposed tax rate, I have to call for a public hearing, I have to put it in the newspaper, post it on our website, put it in on hard copies at City Hall for pickup for anyone that wants to look at it and ask questions and go over it in depth. Then at our next council meeting on the 18th, we would have that public hearing that's posted in the newspaper. We have the public hearing where people can comment for or against. Council can then decide after that, council approves or adopts the tax rate. Tonight, we're only asking you to provide us with the proposed tax rate. And so, if you look here,
2026 proposed.
and you put in the voter approval tax rate, and you go to, let's say, street department, sorry. That could increase our street department budget from 410,000 to 574,121 to rebalance the budget.
We gotta do
How
something.
you get to that number?
Using the voter approval rate instead of the no new revenue rate.
I think the voter approval rate.
Using this 5194 M&O tax rate instead of so we're going from 5019.
Because we have a.
The no new revenue rate would drop it down to 0.4747. The voter approval rate would increase it slightly above this one to 5194. It's almost 52 cents. Or anywhere in between.
It's not that big of a difference between our current and the voter approval. If we want the things done, we want the streets fixed. I don't think we have much choices. So,
Well,
okay.
Are there any other questions on the budget? The water and sewer rates, the tax rates, the budgeted amounts?
Nothing, just asking that you go back through and see what we can possibly remove or need or.
If you want to meet with me and you want to ask, let's look into any of those, we definitely can. I've gone through it, and last year we had to make this budget really lean, because last year we went into the no new revenue rate, so we really had to cut costs last year to make the budget work. This year, I'm rolling that forward into a no new revenue rate. So the budget that you see before is what we really shaved down from last year. And we've continued shaving down more because some things had to go up. Our electricity costs, our insurance costs, some of those all went up, so we had to find more areas to shave and cut. And so the things that I cut were like normal replacements of lawnmowers in our parks department. All of those we took out. If it could wait another year, it's not recommended, but it just had to be cut out, and so we cut it out. So yes, we can do another year. I'm not expecting all of those vehicles, the equipment to go down, but that's just kind of the risk you're running, and so that's what I did. So it's about as lean as you're gonna find.
I think I asked you before, that sundry, what is that? On page 3.
On revenues,
Yeah.
that's brought in from utilities. This in here, remind me what overall sundry is. It's in overbills, payments that were past due. There's
It's tax, it's also water tax.
and water taps, so not guaranteed revenue.
Okay.
well,
Okay, council? And what's your pleasure?
so at the no new net revenue rate, it's gonna be hard to
Get everything.
to get every,
to just get us before.
a lot of our needs would go unmet. Am I right?
Yeah.
At the no new revenue rate?
Yes, sir.
So we'd have to look to the right more to the voter approval rate? I'm just asking a question. Well, it looks like that's the way we're gonna have to go.
Just to fund the city.
I feel like that is the one department, especially our street department, that's the one variable
And we can't play with
that
it.
can improve if we just have more money. Otherwise, we run out of the funds that we have, when we still have people and equipment to do work. That's the one variable that costs a lot. The oil, the rock, the asphalt, the cement, the curb and gutters that we've been doing, you know, those just take up a lot of money. And that's the biggest need that goes unmet every year.
Well,
And it's getting worse.
and those streets that we would set aside that's in need of repair right now, they're not gonna fix themselves, and they're just gonna get worse if we have to put everything aside because
Yes, sir.
of not having the money to do it with. But I don't like for things to go up either.
Nobody does. I don't
But,
fuss about
you
it,
know,
but I do what you have
I
to
just
do.
got one of my insurance packages just a couple of days ago, and it's gone up.
Everything. Yes. Okay, council?
Well, if there's no questions on that, then council we can, Larry, if you want to move to number 3, that's going to be to approve the
Consider.
proposed tax rate.
Okay, item number 3, consider and approve proposed tax rate. What would it be? What's your pleasure?
I make a motion to approve and consider proposed tax rate.
So just if
Voter
you,
approval rate.
the voter approval rate?
Right.
Okay. We have,
I second.
it's second, moved and second, all in favor? Oppose? Motion carries. Moves us to item number 4. Public hearing on tax abatement agreement between Houston County and the City of Crockett under the tax abatement guidelines and criteria, Texas Tax Code, Chapter 312, Section 312.002. Council?
Mayor and council, this is a public hearing that we're required to hold every 2 years before we adopt the tax abatement guidelines and criteria policy. We have a joint one with a joint tax abatement and guidelines policy with Houston County. That's something that we can pass off to any business prospect that's looking to come into Crockett, and that sets kind of our policy and guidelines for seeking any kind of a tax abatement. That is spelled out by Chapter 312 and Chapter 380 of the Texas Local Government Code. In order to issue a tax abatement, we have to have a policy on file, and this addresses that, to maintain a policy on file. The county, I sent this out to council a couple months ago to look over, and I mentioned in there, I'm gonna re-mention, down on page one of the concerns that the county had was in years prior not receiving annual assessment reports or timely filing. Businesses that have tax abatements with the city are required to do quarterly and annual filing, showing that they met those performance agreements, that they've hired If they said they are gonna hire 20 people, they need to show us the books that they've hired 20 people. If they said they're gonna invest 10 million, they need to show at least 10 million in, you know, their expense report. So, up and, you know, the county's concern was that they had not been receiving that in years prior timely. When they go into a joint agreement with us as a lead, then we're the primary point of contact to provide it, to ensure that we have those reports in and to make sure that we pass them on to the county. And so they requested to add this clause here. The annual assessment report upon completion of construction, the designated representative of Houston County or the city of Crockett, whichever entity takes lead on the abatement, shall annually evaluate each facility receiving the abatement to ensure compliance with the agreement, and a formal report shall be made to the Commissioners Court and City Council of Crockett. So we do an annual report on that. That's something that we're going to need to be doing. The timely filing, the county or city, whichever entity takes lead on the abatement, shall ensure timely filing with the Texas Department of Economic Development and the State Comptroller's Office, all information required by the tax code. So that was added in there. Other than that, the abatement policy is the same policy.
So based on that, in that policy, we're basically equally responsible for whatever happens in that.
Whoever takes lead on the project, so if the county was to take lead on any economic development project, then they would provide those reports to us and vice versa.
So equally.
Yes, ma'am. But this addresses clawback clauses that every abatement has to have cure notifications, basically what we've been dealing with this evening. The clawback clauses, performance agreements under the recapture. This basically spells out the policy to any business coming in. They're not taking, they're not unaware of the requirements. So this is just a public hearing for anybody from the public that wishes to speak for and against. And then after the public hearing is open and if after comments, then we would adopt it in the next agenda item.
We're officially open.
And this,
Okay. The public hearing is now officially open. If you have any comments.
this is updated every 2 years.
You can, you can share.
Yes, ma'am. It's to be updated every 2 years. It expires in August, this month. And so we need to update it to have one on file.
Okay, does anyone from the audience have any comments? Council? If no comments,
Nope.
we're closing. The hearing is now closed. Okay, can we, do we have to?
We'll go into item number 5.
Okay, so we don't vote. Okay, item number 5, consider and approve adopting updated policy for joint tax abatement agreements with Houston County under the tax abatement guidelines and criteria pursuant to Texas Tax Code, Chapter 312, Section 312.002. Council?
I make a motion we adopt the updated policy.
I second the motion.
It's been moved in second. All in favor? Motion carries, no opposed. Okay, item number 6, consider and approve a resolution agreement with the Texas Department of Transportation for the temporary closure of the state right-of-way for the World Champions Phyllis Festival in Crockett. Council,
Mayor and council, this is,
a new thing.
that map is not, oh, here it is. They're wanting to I believe they didn't do it the last 2 years. They skipped a couple years.
What's that?
The Fiddlers Festival. The
No,
Fiddlers,
they've had it, it's been out in the park.
but they didn't do it last year, I
They-
believe.
Something happened.
Did they do it
Y'all know
last year?
they had a
Yes, they did.
skip. They had-
Huh? Yeah, they skipped 1 year.
Yeah, they
and
skipped
They
a
had
year.
some more people join and really wanted to see it, that we not skip any more years,
Yeah,
so
I
they had
remember.
some more people join the group, and they've come back with a vengeance and ready to do at the World Championship Fiddler Festival. They are wanting it back down on the square for a closed event. And so this is us to be able to take it and get it approved through TxDOT for street closures.
What is that?
It's a Fiddlers Festival.
What? For 20-some years? Y'all was over
It's
there
the
at that
80
field where they was, you know, under the old pavilions where they first started.
83 babies.
And they used to put that, they block off the old pavilion part to the.
Hold on, let me see. It's
Been doing
the-
it for years.
Good thing, never
I believe it's the 88th. They've been having it for 88 years.
Yeah. You ate it somewhere up in there.
You've had 88 years to figure this out.
I think we,
Yeah,
Waiting for my
you
time.
probably seen, I think y'all gone over in
You
there.
don't have your fiddle?
I might show up this year though.
All right. Any recommend,
Just real short, they're, on Friday, they're gonna be closing, parking spaces in front of, basically from the roller skate rink, from
Yeah, on
the
that corner.
Crockett, skate, down to Lee's. They're gonna, close those parking spaces and that parking lot. And they're bringing in, I believe, 10 or 12 steak, pits, pits. They're doing a steak cook-off. They're bringing, for steaks. And they're gonna do a sale that night. They're gonna do a steak sale. They're gonna have a big cook-off that night. And then the next day, we'll kick off the Fiddlers Festival.
are they gonna put up
What day
tents,
is
or they
it?
gonna do it open air, or how they gonna do it?
They're gonna open some of the restaurants, so you're gonna be able to go out on the, sidewalk and purchase steaks. You're gonna have a bunch of vendors, steak cook-offs. You're gonna be able to purchase steaks. And then the restaurants, it's on, Friday night, but Moosehead's gonna be open. They're gonna have seating area, and you can just go and have steak. And then they're gonna be sitting around this park here, and then downtown, around under the trees, around the courthouse. They're just gonna be a bunch of
Fiddling around,
people out there fiddling and playing banjos and
fiddling around.
That sounds interesting.
that night. And then the next
Fiddling
day,
around. That's
and then the
fun.
next
I
day,
just
Saturday, will be the main square closure.
Fiddling around.
Oh, it's 2 days.
Just that night, but the square won't be closed. They're just gonna close off that parking lot and everything.
And then.
All right, so
Should be interesting.
we need a motion to approve.
Okay,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the, what's that? Temporary closure.
Second.
or stay right away, it's item 6
State right away. I'm sorry.
for the world. There you
Got a motion in a second.
go. Okay, it's been moved in second, all in favor? Motion carries. It should be interesting.
I'm gonna be there for the
Okay, number 7, item number 7, consider and approve gateway sign locations. Pick that out.
Mayor and council, I wanted to review this again with council. We actually had 1 or 2, by the time we got through the whole process with prospective owners,
Oh,
And
too much. here.
interested parties, and so there's been a few adjustments. However, the signs are made, they're finished, they're ready for delivery. They're waiting for us just to approve this tonight. They're going to be bringing their crews in to start the pouring the footers and bringing the signs in. So here's the ones that we have the easements already for all of these spots. This is one coming in from 7 East into town behind Whataburger, right after Fast Track. The old Leslo Sales where Fast Track's at. There's currently a sign there. We're going to replace that sign with this new
Yeah,
sign.
it is a sign.
21 East, there's currently a sign on the inside of the intersection. When you get to the intersection, Taco Bell's over here on your left, Crockett Vet is on your right as you're coming into the square or the loop. We're moving that sign from that location. We were not able to get easement on the current location where that sign is. Or we also talked with the Southland Federal, and they had some concerns about their bylaws and abilities to do an easement for us. So we started working our way back for the next best available location. Right here on the second entrance of Dr. Cravens of the Crockett Veterinary Hospital right here coming into town. Right after that driveway, he has an area of land that he's dedicated to allowing us to do that.
That's close.
And it's actually a really nice spot, right under the
At
tree.
least you won't run into the.
And so, we weren't able to get any on this piece of property. It's for sale, and nobody wanted to work with us on an easement on that. But Dr. Cravens was more than willing to help us on that.
That's a nice piece.
The other one, this is coming in on 19th North from Latexo. This is a Houston County Nursing Home.
Okay, that's a good.
We looked at several different sites, and none of them just, this is the only one that's on the inside of the loop after you've come to a stop. So it's a little bit further away than we would like, but that visibility and that hill would make it really stand out. So even though it's a little bit further away and you're not passing it coming into town,
It's easier to see.
it's a good spot. It's a really good spot. And
Four-way
Mr.
stop.
Baker and Mrs. Baker
Oh, that was
allowed us to
nice.
have an easement there.
That was good.
This is coming in on 287. This is Life Point First Assembly Church coming into town at 287 South. So putting where we're not eating up any, frontage, but right up on the front corner coming into town. And the last one is coming in on from 721 from Centerville or Madisonville, after the road joins
Split.
together there, after the Y,
Oh.
and it comes together. You're coming up on the intersection here. There's a pull off right here on the right hand side. There's a big pull off area of asphalted area, so it's perfect for people to pull
Stop.
over and go out and stand and
Take a
take
picture.
pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is.
And we received easement for the corner of his property. Past this is all TxDOT property. So we got the very outer edge corner of his property. And we've already, if you go out there now, we did some dirt work because there was underbrush and some small scrubby trees that we went in and cleaned up. And so you'll get an idea of where that one is.
We don't got now coming 19 South.
That is the one that we have. We had an existing base there in front of the college building. In front of the college building. They used to have Angelina College on it. All that's been removed. Provalis has put their
Sign on.
their wording on the sign itself. I would like to talk.
That's the hottest, that's to Houston. We don't got now coming,
Let me come up with some ideas.
that's the main one we should have had.
See if I can receive funding. See if I can get some support
Yep.
from other businesses, maybe even Provalis, to help us. And we use that sign that's already there, and we put a lit sign, something, incorporate that big brick base
Yeah.
where we're not tearing all that down. And I think if we incorporated that big brick base and we put a nice sign, City of Crockett, something on, let me come up with some designs, some costs, and see if I can't find some people to help fund it as well.
So
But
those
we just didn't have the money in this
for this round.
this round. And I just wanted to go over these locations to be sure that everybody's aware of it and doesn't have any issues in it. But it is the hottest.
You gotta have 19, man.
I'll come back with some, I'll come back with some options.
Are we ready for a
Alright.
motion?
Yes, ready for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the gateway sign locations.
Can we get a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, now we're up to our, item 8, results of the executive session. Section 551071, consultation with attorney regarding Lincoln Lumber recapture of incentives and tax abatements.
Mayor and council, move that I motion that we move to extend the cure period for Lincoln Lumber to allow for legal research.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. All in favor? Motion carries. It brings us to item number 9, Government Code 551074, Personnel Matters. Consider matter related to city administrator and assistant city administrator and plan of succession.
I make a motion that we approve the plan of succession for the city administrator and assistant city administrator.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. All in favor?
But,
Oh, I'm sorry.
before we go for a vote,
This
do
good.
you mind providing us some
The recommendation.
further direction on the other portions of the plan of succession? Providing direction
No,
Okay,
on the fire marshal position as well.
okay, all right. I'm going to
I
reword it.
move, yeah. Oh, could you call for rewording? Okay, he's gonna reword it.
All right, I make a motion that we move that the city council approve the plan of succession as presented, which includes the ascension of Assistant City Administrator Lee Stanley to the position of City Administrator, the reassignment of City Administrator John Angerstein to the role of Deputy City Administrator to provide transitional support and oversight of ongoing projects, and the transfer of fire marshal duties from the Assistant City Administrator to the Fire Chief, with the fire investigation and inspection responsibilities delegated to designated fire department officers effective October 1, 2025, and approve the presented employment agreements of the City Administrator and Deputy City Administrator.
Okay, the motion.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion.
Let the record reflect it's not in policy.
Mayor and
Okay.
council, I have a short statement tonight, and I won't be too long, because I know it's late. But it is with pride, humility, and hope for the future that I share this message with you. After nearly 10 years serving as your city administrator, I have made the decision to step back from my current role and transition into supportive capacity as deputy city administrator. This brings the question, why now? Why, after all we've been through and the progress that we've made? And my answer is simple: why not now? This city has come so far during my time here, even through tough challenges. There are moments I wonder how much further ahead we might have been if we'd always had the right people fully committed to Crockett's best interests. But I'm reminded that it was the perseverance of good people, those who stayed the course despite the obstacles, that allowed us to recover and move forward. From the beginning, I promised to leave the city better than I found it. Tonight, I can say without a doubt that promise is kept. When I stepped into this role in 2016, Crockett was in an unstable state. We had cycled through several city administrators. Our finances were poor with no reserves. Equipment was failing, morale was low, and the future felt uncertain to many. In fact, the outgoing city administrator told me when he was leaving, he told me he felt like he and previous administrators were in a game of musical chairs, and no one wanted to be the one standing when the music stops. I became determined that I wasn't just looking for a chair to sit in. I didn't take this job as a stepping stone, and I didn't plan to leave when times got tough. I took it because I believe Crockett deserved servant leaders
Yes.
willing to put aside egos and themselves, and someone willing to see it through hard times. Together, we made the tough decisions that needed to be made and have come so far. Our finances, we went from budget deficits. We borrowed money from our enterprise fund just to pay bills. Our credit rating was a BB minus. And now today we have healthy reserves and moved up 10 points to a strong AA credit rating. In infrastructure, we're rebuilding roads, improving water and sewer, upgrading parks, providing employees with reliable equipment and vehicles. Our employees, we transformed the workforce into a hometown team that takes pride in their work. They save the city's hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing more and more in-house every day, and they're doing it every day without complaint. The chaos surrounding economic development has been stabilized. We see successful businesses being brought into town. We're filling up vacant buildings. We have new businesses being built in our industrial park for the first time. We've created a path towards lowering property taxes once the debt has been paid off. We have secured funding and equipment and training that has drastically improved our ISO fire rating and modernized police operations. We used to buy broke down Army surplus and Forest Service vehicles. We used to buy hand-me-down vehicles from Lufkin Police Department and spend money to make them last. Today we have reliable ones that everybody can be proud of. All of these are milestones or countless projects that have quietly transformed how Crockett functions day to day. That being said, I never intended to hold this seat so long that I held others back, or to the point that I stopped being effective. Looking back, I know I was appointed for such a time as this. It was my duty to help lead through crisis and play my role in helping stabilize the city and put right people and systems in place. Now, those people and systems are in place. We have a healthy city, strong leadership, and momentum. This is the right time for a smooth transition, not in crisis, but during stability. In my new position, I hope to continue supporting Crockett. I'll oversee major projects already underway, attract new businesses and work hard towards their successes, and ensure no momentum is lost as the next administrator steps into the role. I thank God for giving me this opportunity.
Take your time.
It is only by His grace that I've been able to serve you, and I pray I've been a witness worthy of Him. Amen. To the mayors and city council members who appointed me and supported the tough decisions, since then I've served under 17 council members and 4 mayors. Thank you for your trust in me. Thank you for serving with me and allowing me the honor of a lifetime. To our amazing city employees, you are the backbone of this community. Thank you for showing up every day and making me proud to serve alongside of you. And to the citizens of Crockett, thank you for the honor of serving you. I've met some of the most wonderful people on this journey, and many of whom I now call lifelong friends. And finally, to my wife and family, thank you for your patience. Through the late nights, phone calls, and interruptions that come with this job, my wife, Krista, has been my strongest supporter, and I couldn't have done this without her. I'm sorry for being emotional, but this job has meant the world to me. I'm not sad. I'm not sad. I'm hopeful and looking forward to the future. This transition is going to feel strange, I promise you, but I want you to know I'm not leaving you. I'm leaving you in a place of strength. The city has been good to me and my family, and I hope I've honored the trust that you've placed in me. Serving you as your city administrator has been the greatest honor of my professional life, and now it will be my honor to support the city in a more focused way. As deputy city administrator, thank you.
Before you said you got to make a speech about, I guess I'm partial. When I came in as mayor, I noticed how things were falling apart and how much John has done. I know a lot of it go unnoticed, but it's never been a point where anybody couldn't ask him something he was able to do. I don't care, you see a hole, he's in the hole, you see him on top of the roof, you see him everywhere. And I know that even in this new role that he takes, it's just gonna be still beneficial because, well, he won't have to have as much conversation with me every day as he he'll be around and be able to be even more so hands-on. But it's without a doubt, you have changed the dynamics of the city. You've made it look like a city, you made it feel like a city, and you made it function like a city even more so. And we're so grateful that you're willing to stay and continue to work with it. And we know as our new city manager come in, that we're gonna still be a team. We don't have to start from scratch, and I am elated about that. I'm excited, and we're gonna do some great things. We have a full council that's ready to go to work, and everybody's excited, and we're so excited. And thank you so much. We can't say the words, but I am gonna thank your wife for putting up with you. I know it was hard. And we appreciate your family and everything that they've done. And so what can we say? Well, thank you, and glad that you're not leaving, you're just transitioning. Oh, and that's it. Woo! You get to go home.
Yes, ma'am.
They'll be up there next time.
Okay, no, I got it. I got it.
They come to our updates?
No, John had passed those out before you had got it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's fine.
You there?
Yes, ma'am.
Like I say, that's my brain.